Hey guys, it's Jenna over at the Long Island Alzheimer's and Dementia Center. I work in respite, and today we'll do opposites. Like, we'll do the words, we'll just do opposite words today. I'll give some time, again, for people to come in. Yeah, we'll do opposites. So, the opposite of up is down. The opposite of down is up. So stuff like that. Fun things. I'm just gonna wait for more people to come on. And I know a lot of people don't watch it live. So if you're not watching it live, you could always just pause it and then do it at your own pace. I'm going to try to slow it down today and go a little bit slower. So if you are watching it live, you can participate, but I know many of you watch after the fact. So, again, if I'm going too fast, I'm going to be very aware of it this time and go a little bit slower. But if I am too fast, just pause it and then hit play. So we're going to do words, like opposite words. So it's like opposite day. What is the opposite of up, down? So we're going to do things like that. But again, I'll wait a little bit longer, just for a few more people. And again, that's my cat. If you hear my cat meowing, that's my cat. She's okay. She's just getting sick of quarantine, I think. That's what it is. Yeah, so again, we're doing opposite words, which is fun stuff. So the first word we'll do, and again, it's opposites. So what is the opposite of large? The opposite of large. So when something's really big, the opposite of that. And again, it doesn't have to be exactly the word that I have written down. It could be around similar, you know, it's pretty subjective. Some things are pretty subjective. So the opposite of big, large, is small. Exactly. So we're just gonna go through these, and again, I'm gonna go a little bit slower. What is the opposite of happy? Happy. What is the opposite of happy? So can you think of something that when you're very happy, the opposite of that? So think about when you're very happy. Think about the opposite of being very happy. What feelings do you feel? What feelings do you feel? When you're happy, and then you're sad. So happy and sad. How about the opposite of receive? What is the opposite of receive? Again, this one's a little tricky because it could be very subjective, but when you receive something, you're getting something. So when you're getting something, the opposite of that would be what? Not necessarily losing something, but you are presenting something to somebody else. So when you receive something, the opposite of receive is what? So when you receive something, you're getting something from somebody as a gift. So the opposite of receiving is being the giver. So the opposite of receiving is give. So the person that gave the gift is giving, while the other one's receiving. So it's kind of working together in a weird opposite, yet mutually cohesive unit. What is the opposite of increase? So when something is increasing, the opposite of increase. Does anybody know what the opposite of increase is? It kind of sounds the same, just a little bit different. So an increase is usually positive. It's, well, not necessarily, but in number-wise, if it's increased, the opposite of increased is when it's lower, decrease. What is the opposite of fast? So when something is fast or somebody is fast, when you're running and you're fast, what's the opposite of fast? A lot of people say this about bears. They say that they don't need to be the fastest. They just can't be the what amongst their friends. It's a long joke that is kind of real. It's very very interesting, but the opposite of fast. It's slow. The opposite of fast is slow. Good job, guys. Good job. Again, we're moving a little fast, so I'm going to slow it down. No pun intended. What is the opposite of inside? When you're inside, the opposite of being inside is what? Sparky knows the answer. She knows. Hey, girlie. She wants to be let out, but literally outside. Yes. So inside and outside, as my cat wants to go right now. She is wanting to go outside, but not right now. Not right now. So the opposite of buy, B-U-Y, when you're purchasing something. So the opposite of buy would be what? Does anybody know? The opposite of buy. So when you buy something at the store, the other end of it is making a profit. And they are what? So if the roles were reversed and you're at the store, I went to Target the other day, which was amazing. So when I was at Target and I bought something, Target was selling it to me. So the opposite of buying is selling. Target was like a field trip. It was amazing. I highly suggest Target as an option. Well, maybe not. Stay inside. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. So the opposite of dawn. The opposite of dawn. This one might be a little tricky. The opposite of dawn. Don't mind my kitty. The opposite of dawn. The opposite of dawn is dusk or sunset. Well, I have sunset here, so I don't know what, but the opposite of dawn, sunset. So, right. Let me see. Yeah, dusk works also. Dusk or sunset. Yeah. Okay, all right. The next, close to this. The next word, again, we're doing opposites. So, the opposite of hate. What is the opposite of hate? Which my kitty feels to me right now because I won't let her out. I know, baby. Maybe I'll bring her in. The opposite of hate is love. Is love. Everybody love each other. The opposite of hate is love. So what is the opposite of dark? Of dark. So if it's dark anywhere, what is the opposite of that? So the opposite of dark is, it starts with an L. The opposite of dark. So if you're in a room and you can't see because the lights are off, and then you turn the lights on and we're getting from dark to light. So dark and then light. What is the opposite of everything? Opposite of everything. To the extreme, everything. What is the opposite of everything? This one's a little bit tricky. When you have everything, it's to the extreme. So if you have everything, the opposite of everything is what? Is nothing. Nothing. So you have everything and nothing. Complete opposite sides of the spectrum. What does the opposite of, we'll do this one here. What's the opposite of left? The opposite of left. So if you have two ways to go on a street, you have left and you have another option. Starts with an R. Also, you could have a lefty righter, or you could have another righter side with your hand. The opposites of left. Right. So left and right. How about the opposite of dirty? So if something's dirty, what's the opposite of dirty? Also, fun fact, put my air conditioner in yesterday and I brought it up a flight of stairs and I put it in, didn't fall out the window, and it's feeling good. It's feeling good. So, fun fact about me, what happened this week. So, the opposite of dirty is clean. 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 So, what is the opposite of? I'm trying to get a nice one for you guys here. There's many options. There's over 1,000 options right now. Trying to get a little tricky here. Trying to find a little tricky one. This one's very tricky, so I'm going to give you guys some time for this one. Let's see. What is the opposite of dictatorship? This one's very difficult. This one's the hardest one I could find on this board here. So, I'll give you guys some time. I feel like you guys are going to get these, so I needed a little tough one here. So, the opposite of dictatorship. This one's tricky. This one's very tricky. But you guys can do it. You can do it. And I suggest pausing until you know this one. This one's very difficult. I kind of just want to give the answer because it's just a very difficult one. Dictatorship, the opposite of a dictatorship. And again, it could be, like, democracy is a very good answer. Again, I feel like it's very subjective. I'm not getting my answers off of the internet, and I don't really know if the source is okay. I don't know who really submitted this. So, again, democracies also could be definitely a good one for sure, because dictatorship, democracy definitely works. This says here republic. This says so again, I don't know how, you know, but that's what it says here with the opposites. I thought that one's a little challenging, so I wanted to just put that in there, just one little challenging one for you guys. If you guys were getting all these ones, I just wanted to throw in a little wrench. So, we'll go back. So, what is the opposite of easy? What is the opposite of easy? Does anybody know the opposite of easy? So if something's easy, and the opposite would be not easy. So what is the definition of not easy? What is that word of the definition of that is not easy? Hard or difficult? Yes, either one can work. Either one can work. So, also, painted my nails, everybody. Painted my nails. Woo! Getting things done. So, let's see. What is the opposite? Again, we're still doing opposites. What is the opposite of dry? Dry. D-R-Y. The opposite of dry. I always try to think of more of a weather type thing. So the opposite of dry when referring to the weather. The opposite of dry. And it could be wet. Opposite, dry and wet. Yes. How about the opposite of dry, like, we'll just keep it like that. Wet and dry. I was thinking humid. Well, it said humid as well, weather-wise. But wet and dry, dry and wet. How about the opposite of narrow? The opposite of narrow. When something is narrow, it is very small. So what is the opposite of narrow? When narrow, and then the opposite of narrow. Narrow, and you have something narrow, you have something broad, you have something wide, broad. Everyone's doing so great, and again, I know that a lot of you don't watch it live, so you guys are doing great. Keep it up, and we're going through these. We're doing so many words. We're really, really killing it right now, everybody. So good job. What is the opposite of floor? The opposite of floor. So when you look down at where you are right now, we're on top of a floor. Right? You look down, there's a floor. What's the opposite of a floor? When you look up, what is that? And if you're inside, of course. If you're outside, this does not, work in this example. So if you're inside and you look down and you see the floor, the opposite is when you look up and you see there's something above you. What is above you? You have the floor, and then the opposite of a floor is a ceiling. So the opposite of a floor is a ceiling. How about the opposite of a loss? So when you lose, in particular a game, when you lose, what's the opposite of lose? I chose to choose lose over the other one, so you can choose the more positive answer. So the opposite, again, we're doing words that are opposite. So the opposite of lose is what? Is win, Also, everybody, speaking of win, I need to show you my aunt recently. Well, not recently. It was a while ago, actually. She has a spider plant, and her spider plant had little babies, and she planted them, and then, gave me one of the little babies of her plant. And for some reason, it wasn't growing. And I finally got it to grow a little bit. It's a little half. It's a little, weird on one side, but I'm getting it to go. I'm getting it. And it makes me very happy. So I just wanted to share this fun fact. Speaking of winning, I definitely am happy about the spider plant now, finally. I feel like I'm doing okay with this plant. Ooh. I felt like I was failing the plant. I felt like I was failing it, so I'm glad that it's gonna be okay. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed. So again, we're doing opposites. What is the opposite of, finish? The opposite of finish. The opposite of finish. I'm gonna have to rearrange my plants now because I kind of messed it up. But again, the opposite of finish. All right, we are good to go. Don't mind my forest. The opposite of finish is start. Start. Yes, nice. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. I sure did. And I could keep going, but I feel like you guys are just too good at this. You're just too good. So shoot, sorry guys. So again, the opposites, there's many of them, and yeah, so you guys really did a good job today, and again, I know that not all of you watch it live, so even if it's not live, I hope you guys are doing really well, and all of that fun stuff. So I miss you guys, and, you know, and everything, so have a good week, guys. Have a good weekend.